Tonight, we're going to step into the sun-drenched but shadow-filled world of Beverly Hills, a place where, behind the perfect marble gates of a perfect mansion, lies a story so twisted it'll absolutely leave you breathless. We're about to dive deep into a tale of obsession, revenge, and a secret that's sealed in blood. So, that's our main character, Sydney Stone, pulling us right into her nightmare. You see, she thinks she's just been hired for a job, but she's actually been chosen for something else entirely. She's been chosen for her past, to be a pawn in a deadly game where the only way out is murder.
So, how does a story like this even begin? Well, it's not with a bang, but with something much quieter. A single, desperate hope. A tiny light in a whole lot of darkness.
Let's meet Sydney Stone. She's smart, college-educated, but she's also hit rock bottom. She's homeless, sleeping in her car. Her very last shot is this interview for a live-in housemaid at the magnificent Gosling estate. I mean, talk about a different world. The wife, Florence Lively, she seems so poised, but also incredibly fragile. She lays out the job, and it is demanding. This is not just about cleaning floors. Sydney's going to have to manage their entire life, and that includes taking care of their 7-year-old daughter, Aria. For Sydney, who has literally nothing left to lose, this isn't just a job, it's a lifeline. But here's the thing, Sydney is hiding a massive secret, one that could shatter this whole dream in an instant. She has a criminal past, a 10-year sentence from a college incident that ended in tragedy. If Florence decides to run a background check, it is all over. And just as her world is about to fall apart again, she's literally getting hassled by the cops in a parking lot. Her phone rings. It's Florence. "You're hired," she says, "and you need to come now." So as Sydney floors it towards that mansion, she has no idea she's not driving towards a new life, but right into the center of a perfectly laid trap.
Okay, so she's in, and this is where we step inside what I'm calling the gilded cage, where that polished, perfect surface starts to show some terrifying cracks underneath. Almost immediately, things just feel off. Sydney's bedroom door, it only locks from the outside. The windows, they're sealed shut. There's this silent gardener who seems to always be watching her from the shadows. And then comes the most chilling discovery of all, a human tooth in the sink. Yeah, a human tooth. Every little detail is like a quiet scream that she's walked into a prison, not a home.
And then there's the husband, Chris Gosling. He is the total opposite of his wife. He's charismatic, he's warm, completely disarming. While Florence just gets more and more erratic, Chris seems like this solid rock, a really sympathetic guy. And Sydney, well, she finds herself drawn to him, an attraction that feels both kind of thrilling and incredibly dangerous. Sydney's suspicions? Well, they get confirmed in the most shocking way you could imagine. She's at Aria's dance class, and another mother just casually whispers this insane truth. Florence was once arrested and spent 9 months in a mental asylum. The fragile wife isn't just a little unstable, she has a dark, documented past. So with Florence and Aria away at a camp, Chris and Sydney are left all alone in this giant house. He convinces her to go out with him, and this one magical evening of dinner and dancing in Malibu leads to a passionate, totally forbidden kiss. The line has officially been crossed.
But that little fantasy is shattered by a horrifying realization. Florence can track their iPhones. Sydney's blood just runs cold. Florence wasn't really away at all. She knew the whole time she was watching.
And this brings us to the moment where everything just explodes. All the charm, the secrets, the tension, it all comes to a head in a moment of outright terror, as the story's true monster is finally revealed. The terrifying turn happens so fast you'll get whiplash. Chris, the charming husband, leads Sydney to a room on the top floor and pours her a glass of wine. The next thing she knows, she's waking up to a complete nightmare. All her stuff is gone and the door is locked. The man she was starting to be drawn to, yeah, he just became her jailer. Through that locked door, Chris demands this insane penance because she broke a dish. His demand? She has to make 21 cuts on her own body. The mask is gone. This was never about attraction. It's about sadistic, twisted control. Just then, Florence unexpectedly returns and opens the door, and all hell breaks loose. Chris attacks both of them. In the total chaos that follows, as he's trying to overpower Florence, Sydney fights back, and she delivers a blow that kills him. In just an instant, the House of Secrets becomes a house of blood.
But just when you think you finally got this story figured out, get ready because it is about to completely flip on its head. The victim you thought you were watching? She wasn't the real target. The entire thing was a setup.
So this timeline, it changes everything we thought we knew. Florence wasn't some unstable wife. She was a survivor of unimaginable torture. Chris drugged her, he framed her for trying to kill their own daughter, and then he had her locked away. Her instability was all an act, part of a brilliant, desperate plan for revenge.
And this, right here, is the core of the whole twist. Sydney's criminal record wasn't a liability, it was a requirement. Florence chose her specifically because she needed someone who could handle themselves, someone who could push Chris to finally show his true colors, and, let's be honest, someone who would be a believable scapegoat if things went wrong. Sydney was the key to Florence's escape.
The monster is dead. The truth is out in the open between these two women. But what happens now? Let's take a look at how two survivors try to navigate the wreckage.
Florence, the master planner, she takes control. With help from police who, it turns out, were already aware of Chris's abuse, they stage his death as a tragic accident. At the funeral, even Chris's own mother basically confirms the deep-rooted cruelty in their family. Florence gives Sydney a very generous check, and the two women, now forever bound by this dark secret, part ways as free women.
But the story doesn't quite end there. In a final, really haunting scene, Sydney's at another job interview in another LA mansion, and she starts to see the exact same signs in this new woman. That polite smile trying to mask pain, the faint bruises she tries to hide with her sleeves. The nightmare she just escaped is playing out all over again, right in front of her eyes. And that leaves us with this final, piercing question. Sydney survived, she's free, but after walking through that fire, she's been transformed. The story closes on her determined eyes, and we're just left to wonder, is she gonna walk away? Or is she gonna step back into the shadows to become the savior she never had?
We have come to the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting stories. Have a good one.